So what do the digital modes actually transmit? DMR sends a radio ID or a numeric ID from a registry, plus talk group and slot data. Your call sign appears because a database maps the ID to it. System Fusion C4FM. I'm a lot more familiar with this. I have a DMR radio, but Fusion C4FM is really popular in my area. We have multiple repeaters with it, so it's something I'm a little more familiar with. The call sign is carried in the digital frames, and Fusion radios display the ender's call sign on the screen. D-Star, I've never used D-Star that I know of. Call sign fields are built into the protocol header. It says my call, your call, repeat 1, repeat 2. And then P25 or NXDN, the unit ID and talk group data call sign display depends on the network's alias table. That one I'm familiar with, not through amateur radio, but it can be used in amateur radio, but through work that I've done in public safety. And that one is you can control a database basically that reads the radio, has a unique identifier, and then you can go into the database and change the alias to show, in first responder cases, the fire engine's number or the police officer's badge number or whatever. And then if something happens and that piece of equipment gets passed on to someone else, you don't have to go physically to that radio and make any changes. You just change that database to show that radio number XYZ123 is now assigned to so-and-so. So that's a pretty neat little setup. And I know some of this could be used in amateur radio as well. I'm not sure how you would affect a change in a database there. I'm not familiar with the usage of it in amateur radio, but I am familiar with the system itself somewhat, and it sounds like a pretty neat little thing if we went to one of these other modes and we're able to, well, DMR has a database as well, but these other two, D-Star and Fusion C4FM, I know for sure that all that's controlled directly in the radio, so there's no going online to update a database that makes a universal application to that radio with everybody. So here's why the embedded call signs don't count. Voice mode, not data mode. Number one here, 97.119 section B, subsection 3. It applies when all or part of the communication is transmitted by RIDI or data emission. A digital voice contact is the phone case, and the phone method requires English speech. And then looking at these digital modes a little bit further too, proprietary, not a specified digital code. The ID fields right inside the vendor protocols. A receiving station needs matching gear and the right database to read them. So that is not the plain open code and the core rule